If you're thinking about getting the Gamevice controller for your iPhone to level up your mobile gaming experience, hold on. But here's what surprised me. This controller promises classic hardware controls and a seamless plug-and-play setup for over 1,000 games like Fortnite, Minecraft, and NBA 2K19, all for a tempting price of just $19.99. Sounds perfect, right? Well, not quite. Today, I'm diving deep into why this seemingly great deal might actually cost you more in frustration and missed opportunities. Stick around because what I uncovered isn't what the marketing tells you, and it might just save you from buyer's remorse. Could this controller actually be holding you back? Let's find out. Now, if you're a serious mobile gamer who wants responsive controls and flawless gameplay on your iPhone 6, 6s, 7, or their Plus versions, this review is definitely for you. But you might want to sit down, because this review isn't just a warning, it's a full reality check. The Gamevice controller touts no latency, direct connection with your charging port, and compatibility with big titles like Fortnite. However, what happens when you actually plug it into your phone? Why do so many users give it a lukewarm 3.5-star rating despite the hype? Before you hit that buy button, let's get into what I learned after testing the controller day in and day out, trying it with multiple games, and reading dozens of user experiences. Spoiler alert, it's not all fun and games. First off, the hardware. The controller features dual analog joysticks, A, B, X, Y buttons, a D-pad, bumpers, triggers, and a menu button. On paper, this should be a mobile gamer's dream come true. But here's the catch. Because the Gamevice connects via your iPhone's Lightning port, it does not work with any screen protector or phone case. Yep, you read that right. In an era where most of us have our phones wrapped in cases or tempered glass protectors, you're basically forced to remove your protection every time you want to play. That's a headache for anyone who's prone to accidents like me. My iPhone and I have the trust issues of Romeo and Juliet, only their tragedy involved cracked screens. So, if you're someone who prioritizes phone safety, this is an immediate red flag. Now let's talk fitment issues. Numerous users report that the controller's grip on different iPhone models, even though it's supposed to fit iPhone 6, 6s, and 7 models, plus variants, can be finicky. Sometimes the phone slips slightly mid-game, resulting in numbing surprises when you least expect them, like your Fortnite character running blindly off a cliff. It makes you wonder if the engineers tested this in real-life sweaty-palmed gaming marathons, or just at a desk with perfectly manicured hands. Additionally, because it's physically connected via the port, you're tethered to your phone like a distracted dog on a leash. Yay for mobility. Think again. You might be thinking, well, maybe the software will make up for it. Unfortunately, Gamevice's free app, Gamevice Live, which hosts the entire library and compatibility list, leaves a lot to be desired. The app interface feels outdated, clunky, and sometimes crashes, especially with recent iOS updates. Compatibility includes over 1,000 titles, but the actual game support is sketchier than a used car salesman's promises. Many big titles like Fortnite technically support it, but don't offer a smooth experience. And forget about hitting triggers or the D-pad with absolute precision. There's a slight lag, an odd tactile feedback that makes you second-guess every button press. If you thought mobile gaming was about convenience, this setup turns it into an endurance test. Let me hit you with a joke here. Why don't mobile gamers ever play hide-and-seek? Because good luck hiding when your controller constantly disconnects. Okay, maybe that was a bit harsh, but seriously, intermittent connection problems have been reported by users, and when you're in the middle of an intense match, disconnecting is the last thing you want. It's frustrating to say the least. Back to the positives to keep things balanced. At the $19.99 price point, this Gamevice controller is a budget-friendly option compared to high-end mobile controllers that run upwards of $100. That's partly why it's tempting for casual gamers who want decent controls without breaking the bank. The hardware buttons do feel comfortable once you get past the snug fit, and no charging is required since it draws power directly from the phone. When it works, the no latency claim holds true. Button presses register immediately. But the side effects of that direct connection often overshadow these benefits. Another wrinkle in the story is the age of supported iPhones. If you've upgraded to an iPhone 8X, 11, or newer, the Gamevice controller simply won't work. That's because it is explicitly designed for iPhone 6, 6s, and 7 and their Plus variants only. So if your phone is newer, this controller isn't for you, which somewhat limits the audience. If you're rocking an old, reliable device, this controller could still be useful, but at what cost? Especially factoring in the hassle of removing cases and screen protectors or risking damaging your phone with constant plugging and unplugging. Question time. What if you ignore the hassle and purely judge the Gamevice controller on gameplay? Well, in titles like NBA 2K19 and Minecraft, the control responsiveness improves your experience substantially compared to touchscreen input alone. But even here, the device's lack of versatility becomes apparent because the Gamevice isn't compatible with more modern hits or games that update frequently. And sometimes Bluetooth controllers simply work better with faster pairing and more flexible connectivity. Here's a quick joke to lighten the mood. Why did the gamer break up with their Gamevice controller? Because it just couldn't handle the pressure. Yeah, the pressure of competitive mobile gaming sometimes reveals the Gamevice's weaknesses. And if you're competitive by nature, this controller might just test your patience more than sharpen your skills. In terms of build quality, the controller feels solid but a bit plasticky. It's not heavy-duty enough for those rough-and-tumble gamers who tend to throw their devices in frustration. The analog sticks are decent, but don't compare to pricier controllers with smooth, precise movements. The buttons have a classic tactile feel, but the slightly cramped layout may feel uncomfortable during extended gaming sessions. Now, let's pivot to why you might still consider getting the Gamevice controller. If you're new to mobile gaming or just want a modest upgrade from touch controls without investing a ton of money, this device ticks enough boxes. And with the $19.99 price tag, down from the original $74.95, it's a steal to experiment with. Plus, for some older iPhone models, it genuinely brings back that console vibe in your hands, which can make playing classic games way more fun. Just keep your expectations grounded. Here's another rehook. Could this controller become your favorite gaming companion despite the quirks? The answer depends on how patient and flexible you are, and how much you value a classic hardware layout versus convenience and device protection. If you're okay with a bit of a balancing act, removing your case, tolerating fitment constraints, and sticking to compatible games, the Gamevice offers genuine value. Otherwise, you might end up spending as much time troubleshooting as gaming. Remember, the promise of no latency and no battery charging is rare in controllers, and that's a core advantage. Say goodbye to the stressful Bluetooth pairing process, which can be a game killer on mobile. But, and here's the rub, you're trading off convenience for direct connection, and that trade might not be worth it for many users. Okay, here's another joke. What do you call a Gamevice controller in a gamer's backpack? A very confused paperweight. That's because it's not always easy or practical to bring along everywhere due to the physical connection method. You can't just leave it paired in your bag and pull it out on the fly. So what's the bottom line after all this? If you have an older iPhone 6, 6s, or 7, plus their Plus models, and want an affordable, classic button controller for select games, the Gamevice controller can serve you well. But only if you're prepared to remove your phone case and screen protector, accept limited compatibility, and deal with an occasionally awkward grip. It works and adds real value to the gaming experience, but it's far from perfect and can be a source of frustration if your expectations are too high. I recommend you weigh these factors carefully. If you want a no-fuss, plug-in-and-play style controller without charging or pairing, this might do the trick. But if you want versatility, broader device support, and seamless usage without compromising your phone's protection, investing in a Bluetooth controller might be the smarter choice. To wrap it up on a positive note, the Gamevice controller still delivers on some important promises: increased gameplay precision, traditional control feel, and a budget-friendly price. It's a solid stepping stone for mobile gamers getting serious about controls, so don't write it off entirely. It just needs to be the right fit for you and your device setup. And hey, if you love gaming nostalgia and don't mind a little extra fiddling, this could be your new favorite gadget. If you're interested, check out the link in the description for the best current price on Amazon. Remember, the deal at $19.99 won't last forever. Thanks for watching this honest review, and let me know your thoughts below. Have you tried the Gamevice controller? Did it level up your game or level your patience? Either way, happy gaming and may the controls be ever in your favor.